When people resist determinism, it is often because they fear it removes meaning. Because if everything is caused, then where is personal achievement? Where is moral praise or blame? Where is the hero? Where is the villain? But perhaps meaning does not disappear when we let go of isolated authorship. Perhaps it transforms because instead of seeing ourselves as lone creators battling a chaotic universe, we begin to see ourselves as expressions of a vast process. And there is humility in that. And humility can be strangely freeing because if you are not the sole architect of your failures, you do not need to drown in guilt. And if you are not the sole architect of your successes, you do not need to inflate with pride. And in both cases, compassion becomes more natural because you recognize that others too are shaped by conditions they did not fully choose. This is why some philosophies suggest that believing in determinism can soften resentment. Because if someone harms you, you may still set boundaries. You may still protect yourself. But you understand that their behavior arose from conditioning, trauma, biology, environment, and countless unseen influences. And this does not excuse harm, but it contextualizes it. And when you contextualize behavior, hatred loosens and understanding grows, and that shift alone can transform relationships. At the same time, seeing karma as universal causation removes the idea that the universe is personally targeting you with rewards or punishments. Because storms do not strike as moral judgments, earthquakes do not choose victims, illness does not arrive as divine vengeance, and in a broader deterministic view, these events are movements within natural systems. And human suffering often arises not because someone deserved it, but because complex chains of events intersected in a particular way. If you look at nature, you see cycles everywhere, seasons turning, tides rising and falling, stars forming and collapsing, civilizations emerging and dissolving, and perhaps karma is simply the recognition that these cycles are not random but patterned, that existence swings like a pendulum, moving from one state to another, and human life, brief as it is a momentary expression within these larger movements, and when you zoom out far enough, individual triumphs and tragedies blend into a grand rhythm that began long before us and will continue long after us. And so the question shifts from, what do I get from life, to how am I participating in life? And perhaps even further to, what is life expressing through me? Because if existence itself is a flow of energy interacting with itself, then what we call I is a temporary pattern within that flow, a wave in the ocean, distinct for a moment, yet inseparable from the whole. And when the wave rises, it does not create the ocean. And when